He's Doug Gottlieb, college basketball analyst and host of the Doug Gottlieb Show, on loan from CBS, joining us on the program. What happened to my Zags?
I'm not sure if you ever read Andy Glockner's work, who works for SI, as I know you do as well. But in 9 possessions for Wichita State, they scored 23 points. It was unbelievable. There's a couple different levels to it. I mean, in terms of they had an injury. Gary Bell hurt his foot, so that really limited them in terms of their athleticism in the backcourt, their playmaking in the backcourt. Wichita State's pretty good and played kind of out of their mind during that stretch. But the game felt like it was over. I mean, Wichita State's body language wasn't even any good. They called timeout, down 8. But then they just kind of grinded and hit some huge shots. And I don't think Gonzaga played that poorly. I thought Elise Harris disappeared a little bit. Didn't seem like he wanted the ball. I thought David Stockton, who's a former walk-on, showed that he's a former walk-on and that he just didn't have the ability to necessarily contain the ball as well as you'd like or create as many shots, although he had some nice passes. So it was kind of all Kevin Pangos and Kelly Olynyk. And, Pangos could only keep up so much with Wichita State. But, look, we talked about this all year, Dan. The difference between the best teams and everybody else is just not that great. And, Wichita State played with incredible self-confidence at the start of the game, hitting some shots, then had some foul trouble and kind of completely fell apart, and then found a way to come together. And it was remarkable. I mean, that kid Ron Baker, he hit the game winner in the state championship 2 years ago in the state of Kansas from a tiny town, Scott City, Kansas. And, he sat 21 games this year after redshirting last year, paid his own way last year to go to Wichita State. Sat 21 games, and when I walked in the gym, I said to Greg McDermott on practice day, I was like, I kind of like the Baker kid. He's like, I'm telling you, he's an all-league player. He probably should be playing in the Big 12. He's 215 pounds. His dad's a strength coach. And the first game against Pittsburgh, they were 2 of 20 from 3. I mean, they couldn't throw it in the ocean. And they're not a particularly good three-point shooting team. But Marshall told them at halftime, you guys keep shooting. Give me the effort on defense. You guys keep shooting. And sure enough, late in that game, whap, whap, whap. It was 7 threes in a row. Their coaching staff told me they hadn't made 7 threes in a row in practice.
If you were going to reseed, who would be the 4 number ones?
Well, obviously, you'd have Louisville would still be the overall number 1. I think you'd probably put Duke as the 4th number 1, right? Wouldn't you?
Probably.
And I'm not sure you put Kansas as the number 1. But they're just okay. I think they're good. I've always thought they're just okay without a point guard. It's a good team, not a great team. I know that Miami was pushed a little bit last night. I like Miami. I'll tell you that the team that I picked to win the national title to start the year, and it may, they may get there. They may have, they may fall apart coming to kind of their home away from home in L.A., but Arizona was really good this weekend. Granted, against 2 inferior foes, but they were locked in. And then the other team that Vegas loves and that I love, but they just haven't been able to win close games, is Florida. I mean, Florida looked the part of a national champion. So if you're probably going to do it today, just on how they played, what do you want to do, have they played or resume and how they played and how they looked, Dan? You make the call.
How they played.
Well, Louisville won. I would probably say Florida 2, Indiana 3, and I got to hold it against Arizona, who they played against, so I would probably put Michigan State as the other number 1.
He's Doug Gottlieb, CBS Sports, joining us, Dan Patrick Show. It's hard to surprise people now when you consider that you have social media, all the columns, how sports is covered. But Florida Gulf Coast has shocked the world, the basketball world, that who they are, what they've done, and now they're up against Florida. I mean, you couldn't ask for a better storyline. These kids were probably not recruited by Billy Donovan, and now you have.
Think?
Yeah.
You think?
Yeah. Well, but I mean,
it's not like Billy Donovan didn't see Brett Comer because he was recruiting, because he had Austin Rivers. Remember, Austin Rivers went there originally, was going there originally, then decommitted, and then went to Duke. So it's not like he doesn't know who these kids are. He just looked at them and goes, not our level.
But don't you find what happens, Doug, at this time of the year? We love the Cinderella story for 2 weeks, and then after that, we want the big boys to come in so we have a legitimate national championship game?
Yeah, I think what you want is you want 3 in 1. You want 3 legit powers, and then you want 1. I mean, that's why the Duke Butler game was such high drama. I mean, I'm still trying to adjust at CBS to the fact that they think one of the great moments in NCAA history was the fact that Butler missed a half-court shot. It was like, it didn't go in. Like, no, you don't understand. It was almost a great upset. Like, okay. But while I will disagree on that, I do understand that what made that storyline great was that you did have the superpower, and then you had the true Cinderella. So, look, I'll just tell you this: Andy Enfeld is, his wife is an Oklahoma State fan. You know that, right? Amanda Markham. You know, she's like, that was like their first date was they went up to an Oklahoma State Syracuse.
All right, I'll look past that.
No. That just shows Cowboys have swag. That's what that shows right there.
Oh, okay. Good luck with that.
Yeah,
good luck with that.
But he took this job, and I honestly told a buddy of mine, John Shambi, because we were hanging out with him, and I said, dude, we're never going to hear from him ever again. Like Florida Gulf Coast, we're never going to, because all these coaches, they're like, I just got to get a head coaching job. I just got to, like, be very careful. And he was telling me, no, they got a new arena. You know, we got tons of players there. You know, Florida can't take all these kids in state because they're recruiting nationally. You can get play. Like, all right, fine. You don't understand how much talent there is. I was like, this guy we'll never hear from him again. He'll be an assistant on somebody's bench in the NBA 15 years from now.
Well, at least you didn't say this, Doug. The analysts after the fact always tell you what they thought could happen. I knew that Florida Gulf Coast, they had a lot of nobody knew this. It's like
no, wait, hold on. Wait, I will only tell you that when Miami lost to Florida Gulf Coast, right? So I talked to their staff, and they were like, dude, they're good. They're good. They're, like, legit. Like, we went down there. They didn't have Durant Scott, and they played in that new arena that they had, so the place was going crazy. Like, they beat us. They're very good. I'm like, okay. And obviously, part of it is the way in which Enfield coaches. Part of it is they have a sick point guard in Comer. And then, and they're playing a little bit above their level with confidence. But, how about a team get swept by Lipscomb is in the Sweet 16?
Of course. One more question for you. The UCLA job with Ben Howland being fired.
Yeah. Total joke, by the way.
About
Dan
him.
Guerrero, grow some, Dan Guerrero. All those wolves at the door, they want something better. Guy wins the league. And I don't like Ben or dislike Ben. I can only tell you that speaks really poorly for the profession. The guy wins his league with the highest percentage of points scored by freshmen in the country, Ben Howland, and he gets fired.
Well, what's going to happen is it's going to be a reality check for him, Doug, because I think they're going to find some people who turned that job down.
I still think it's a great job. They did redo the arena, although they don't have a practice facility, and the arena is still kind of the same arena, and you still have fan apathy there. Ben Howland is only one reason that they didn't show up. Another reason is it's L.A., and you better be great in order to get plus 6 o'clock games with the Pac-12 network and the ESPN deal. No one's showing up in L.A. to 6 o'clock games. You just can't fight traffic. Why would you when games on TV? I still think it's a great job. I'd be interested to see if Shaka or Brad Stevens takes it. Those are the first two calls you should make. I don't think Mark Few takes it. And then after that, now all of a sudden it becomes a little sketch as far as who you're going to go out and get. But it's still one of the top 5 jobs. They have to figure out big boy basketball. Even with the redone arena, Dan, I don't think their arena is one of the top 25 in the country.
Oh, one other thing. The Kraft charge that he took, explain the rule if I release the ball and then I charge into you. Why doesn't the basket count?
I don't know. You're going to have to ask John Adams on that. It's almost like that's like one of those where the ref gets to make the decision as to the timing of such, when the ball was released, when the charge actually took place. First of all, it wasn't a charge. Forget about the fact that his foot was above the line. He moved forward. I mean, it's the stupidest part is, we sit there with John Adams. He's done a good job. And he's like, look, our point of emphasis is we don't want to call a charge for guys that move forward, guys that move under people when they leave their feet. And that's what he did.
Yep.
And what they do is they anticipate and they assume, and that and it ruins the game. That said, he jumps up, hits a big shot at the other end, and boy, you feel bad. But these block charge calls, they have to move the line out, and they have to make sure that the officials know it's more important whether or not the guy's feet are set than if his feet are on this line. And is he moving forward and under a guy?
They had the benefit of review, and that when you have benefit of review and you still don't get the call right, I have a problem with that. And I thought if the shot is released, then, okay, the consequence is ball went in, but there's a charge. Okay, I got a foul on me, but I thought the hoop should have counted. But you're right. I thought he slid a little bit. He was moving a little bit up, trying to almost force the charge. But, that's what it comes down to.
It's one of the things that the line actually does is officials pay more attention to the line,
yep, you're right.
The line than they do actually whether or not the guy took the charge.
Yep. Hey, good to visit with you. Great job over the weekend.
Love you, Dan.
Thank you, Doug. Doug Gottlieb from CBS Sports. Wow, there's a love me. It's his CBS thing. Seth Davis, now Doug. Get Jim Nance on. A tradition unlike any other. I love you, Dan.